And now we know exactly what Trump meant by make America great again. Make it great for the racists, the white supremacists, the neo-Nazis. Make it great for the anti-Semites. Make it great for those entrusted to enforce the law, who break the law and who persecute Hispanics. Make it great for presidents who tweet about building a wall to keep out Mexicans while a city with 36% Latino and 27% Mexican heritage population and the nation's 9th largest African American population, while that city is drowning. Make it great for the homophobic. Make it great for those too stupid to understand who transgendered people are. Make it great for those who must hate others. Make America great again, which means make America white again. This month, last Friday in particular, has been the most destructive month, has been the most hateful month, has been the most anti-democratic month, has been the most horrifying month, has been the most prejudiced month, has been the most disgusting month, has been the most unforgivable month, has been the most un-American month in the history of the American presidency. This is not about who elected him, nor the forces afoot in the nation which enabled him, nor our history of reactionary regression after the fits and starts of progress in our society, nor who advises him, nor who influences him, nor who can control him, nor who is responsible for him. This is about the hate and the spitefulness and the limitless evil inside one man, one despicable, unforgivable, feral man. This is about Donald John Trump, a man who is filth. In 1 month, Trump has seen the people who publicly shouted threats against the Jews and carried the symbols of the era of lynching of African Americans and equated them to the people who protested those vermin. He has then falsely walked back his true sentiments and read what a conservative commentator called a hostage tape of a formal statement. The next day, he staged an insane, enraged news conference. The next week, he gave an insane, enraged speech in Phoenix, reading his first statement to the crowd of morons and degenerates we have always contained in this country, but editing out the damning part of his own statement in a bid to edit history. The next night, with no irony, no sense that we could see the truth of the emperor's new clothes, he made a call for, quote, unity. The polls showed that whatever he thought he was doing, the number of Americans who believed Trump actually discouraged white supremacists was 3%. 3. And by last Friday, it had become clear as to what the word unity means in the diseased mind of this hateful sadist Trump. It means unity of agreement with him. It means unity in not criticizing him. It means unity of all of us who look like him, unity in the suppression of all of us who do not look like him. In a span of little more than an hour on Friday, he banned, for no reason other than prejudice, loyal and patriotic soldiers from our military because they happened to be transgendered. And he reportedly prepared to remove the safety net for those who were brought here as children without documentation. And he pardoned Joe Arpaio, one of the leaders of that subdivision of those morons and degenerates we have always contained, a man who targeted Hispanics and persecuted them and humiliated them and used the law to break the law again and again and was told to stop by the courts and refused. And Trump pardoned him for refusing. In that moment, Donald John Trump violated, again, the oath, the one which he falsely swore, the one in which he lied, the one he merely read because it was part of the act, the part in which he promised to protect the Constitution. Donald John Trump ignored our Constitution, again, as he always does, as he always will do, until the necessary actions are taken to remove him and this crowd around him, this crowd of venomous, enabling thugs who permit this nightmare to continue. The issues of right and wrong, of good and evil, become more inescapable with each passing week. Trump's prejudice against the transgendered is only one part of his frenzied demagoguery. The excuse of excessive cost fools only the feeble-minded, insomuch as the military spends more on erectile dysfunction drugs than it does on the needs of the transgendered. Trump's prejudice against Hispanics is only one other part of his frenzied demagoguery. As the picture of the horrors in Houston became clear on Sunday morning, he tweeted 10 times, 6 times congratulating the hurricane response by the government, by which he means the response by him, once about his margin of victory last year in Missouri, once actually peddling a book by Sheriff David Clark, the Arpaio of Milwaukee, once about NAFTA, and once about the evils of Mexico and his psychotic obsession with a wall designed to keep out people who look like those who are drowning in Texas. Early in this month, he had redirected funds from flood coverage to this obsession with building his damned wall. He threatened to shut down the government to build that damned wall. He threatened to end DACA to punish Hispanics because every demagogue has to have a flock of human sheep who join him in rapturously hating one minority group. Trump's prejudice against Jews is only one more part of his frenzied demagoguery. Last week, Trump retweeted an eclipse meme created by a man who 3 days earlier had tweeted, quote, "We have enough Jews where I live." Just as Trump had tweeted a month ago a wrestling video created by someone who had made a series of anti-Jewish tweets, just as Trump had issued a statement a week into his presidency about International Holocaust Remembrance Day that never mentioned the words Jews, Jewish, or Judaism. Just as Trump tweeted a year ago an image of Hillary Clinton atop a pile of money and a Star of David, and so many people said, oh, he's not anti-Semitic, his son-in-law is Jewish. And then after Charlottesville, he defended the Nazis wearing swastikas who shouted, quote, "Jews will not replace us." And Trump's prejudice against African Americans is only another part of his frenzied demagoguery. He said both sides were to blame. The domestic terrorists brandishing, burning torches and praising the Ku Klux Klan and their victims. But Republicans, we will ignore these terrifying hatreds, this manifold malfeasance in response to Hurricane Harvey, this Pandora's box of Trump's unforgivable crimes just for the moment, and we will ask you only about the pardon of Joe Arpaio just for the moment. Republicans, your, quote, president, unquote, pardoned a man convicted of violating the orders of a federal court. Your, quote, president, unquote, sided with the rule of one man over the rule of law. Your, quote, president, unquote, defended dictatorship over democracy. You, Republicans, are now either for democracy or you are for Donald Trump. You cannot be for both. You will be asked. Your answer will be demanded by the American public before we decide if you will be permitted to walk away from this monster you have helped to foist upon this nation. Republicans, do you believe in the United States of America? Do you believe in the Constitution? Do you believe in the rule of law? Do you believe in the rights of Jews? Do you believe in the rights of Hispanics? Do you believe in the rights of women? Do you believe in the rights of African Americans? Do you believe in the rights of LGBTQ? Do you believe in the rights of Americans? Or do you believe in Donald John Trump? This nation will no longer tolerate Trump and the hatefulness and the divisiveness and the venality and the prejudice he represents and exploits and breeds. He will be impeached. And you Republicans will either help us to impeach him or you will go with him. Give us your answer.